Walter White, Jordan Belfront, John Wick, Tyler Durden. What do all these three people have in common? Or four people have in common? They're all anti-heroes. Hey guys, steveo here for Movies and TVs on the Ball, and I was wondering what makes a good anti-hero? A hero or anti-villain, I don't know exactly what to call it, but a hero we're not supposed to like, but we like him anyway. We know he does bad things, but he does it for the greater good. Like I look at characters like I've reviewed videos on Breaking Bad where I discussed Walter White's in the pilot and how, since I've seen that show from the beginning to the end, I like how he slowly evolves from mild mannered Walter White, or he looks like Ned Flanders, to Heisenberg, and how he gets in. Same thing with the anti-hero. If you look at somebody like Frank Underwood, because we're looking at Frank Underwood, we're following Frank Underwood um, through his narration, and him being through his narration, and since we're following him from our perspective as the audience, we look at Frank Underwood as the good guy. We hate it if he gets his comeuppance. Now, on the other side, if you, we're not, we kind of, on the other side, he looks more like the bad guy than anything. John Wick, I would say, is doing everything for his moral, but he's more of a hero, anti-hero in some senses than others. Then you've got characters from Mad Men. There was a Mad Men who they do. I haven't seen Mad Men. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. But I listened to a podcast where they talked about Prophet, which came out in 1996. And Prophet was sort of for TV before Walter White, before Tony Soprano, about 3 years before Tony Soprano. There was Prophet, where he would do anything to change to get what he wants, even. And it was an interesting show. If you've got it on, I think you can probably find episodes on YouTube, or the DVD set is available, I think, on Amazon. But it came out in '96, about 4 years before The Sopranos, and really um, gave the kind of was the birth was the for TV in a way, was before Walter White, before Tony Soprano, before Frank Underwood. And Frank Underwood, I think, is pretty much, or for before Mad Men, who's pretty much, both shows are a disciple of Prophet. They brought something to the character. Now, from my experience of watching the Antihero, I've noticed that we're not supposed to root for him, and I think we enjoy it. I think we find them more interesting, because I think the villain in Breaking Bad, we're watching Walter White go from like I said, mild mannered and Flanders, to Breaking Bad. John Wick, he kills a lot of guys, but I think John Wick is more of the anti-hero, because I think he still brings in that 80s feel, because a lot of those 80s action stars like Stallone, Schwarzenegger are the heroes, but I think in one perspective they go all out to destroy something in in a way, and then you have then there's villains that I think we despise because they're so despicable that get we can't get behind them, and they become who they are. Now I haven't seen Broadway Empire, but I heard Steve Buscemi's character is a very villainous character. Um, what I guess my question to my fans and audiences out there: what do you think is a who do you think's the best? Well, let's two questions. What do you think makes a very anti-hero compelling and interesting, and who out of both the TV and film in the last, let's say, 50 years, who is a great anti-hero that we do not like but we're supposed to like? We're not well, okay, we do like but we're not supposed to like. Let me know in the comments below. I would have to say that um, you could probably say in comic books, Deadpool would be a great anti-hero as well. Magneto, let's look at Magneto as a villain in in a way. If you look at him through the eyes of X-Men 1, where he really wants to, change humanity into mutants, and then you have so I think, but I think there's more with them is more of a mutual respect between him and Charles Xavier. Um, but what other characters in TV and movies are a good anti-hero? I think Tony Soprano. I've been watching at least 6 episodes of the first season, and from what I've kind of gathered, is that in some ways, I think because we're looking through the world through his eyes, like Frank Underwood, like Walter White, we feel more attached to them. Now we have to kind of step back and go, okay, so he's really the bad guy when you think about it. But what makes, but that's kind of my perspective on what makes an anti hero really interesting. I think you look at Rorschach in, I'm just kind of naming things because Rorschach in um, Watchmen, and how he is sort of the villain in some ways. I think Magneto and Professor X, going back to X-Men, I feel like those two, or Magneto himself, is more of a villain than it can be sort of villain, but it kind of have his own personal vendettas against the heroes. But let me know what your thoughts on the villains we like, or the anti-heroes. Who is your favorite one? Who's your least favorite one? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, like and subscribe. Peace. Also, to add to that, I would like to ask you guys what your thoughts on Tyler Durden as a anti-hero, because I feel like if you watch Fight Club at the beginning of the movie, you feel like Tyler Durden is, or like during when Tyler Durden is shows up, you feel like Tyler Durden is the good guy. You're not good guy, but there's some sort of attraction to Tyler Durden. He's good looking. He's good looking. He's fit. He fights. He says what he wants. And then when you watch Tyler, and then when you watch it to the end where he starts doing all the mayhem stuff, you kind of can see that he's doing it for his uh, for himself, and becomes an anarchist in a way, and then it's not until you find out, spoilers, that the Tyler Durden um, is the narrator. There, it's all about what it's all about what Tyler Tyler is everything the narrator wishes he could be, but to the extreme of the anti-hero. So let me know. This is going to kind of add on to it, but let me know what your thoughts on Tyler Durden as well on the end of this video. And as always, like and subscribe. Peace.